What is up, everybody? Joe Everest, the fence expert, for a bit of a unique Q&A here that I thought you guys would get a kick out of hearing. With me, of course, the one, the only, Matt Warner. Matt, how
Stop
are
it.
you?
I'm doing great. Don't give me too much love. Hey, I will tell you, I am really excited about this. So, this is going to be a unique thing in the fence industry. This is really scary stuff. There's going to be some people that are going to hate it, and some people are going to love it. And you know what?
Yeah.
I think that's what makes it good. But I'm excited for this debut. Hopefully, the listeners enjoyed the first episode.
All right, so let's tell everybody what we're talking about. Season 1, Episode 1 of Unhinged, the industry's first and only audio drama. Um, Matt, let's talk. So there's not a lot to recap. So the point of these, we're going to come in every week, drop
Week.
a recap where you and I kind of maybe obviously recap the episode, but maybe give a little behind the scenes, peel back the curtain a little bit, and talk a little bit about maybe some inside ball on the episode, and then give a little bit of little tidbits of what might be coming next, might be coming around the bend.
And hopefully too, people can get to know the characters a little bit. As you go, find the character that you love, and then you can relate with the character. And obviously, I'm a character in there. You're a character in the seasons to come. So
Yeah.
And I have a little snippet in the first one there, but literally.
Yeah.
This first one, we're just trying to get people introduced and get it going. And the writers, by the way, I did not write this. The writers did a great job of giving you just a little bit of sense of energy of who each and every character is, right?
Yeah. Episode 1 is really setting the stage. So it's introducing a few characters, giving a little backstory about like who's who and who Scarecrow Technology is a little bit, like introducing them, key players, also kind of like laying the landscape, letting them know this is in Noire.
Noire.
Right. It's not
mouthful marble.
Right. You might look at the town and think it's nowhere, but it's somewhere.
I kind of like that line.
That was such a good line there in the diner. I was like, this is so for season 1, episode 1, we did a table read before we actually recorded our parts, just to introduce each other, like get to meet each other, and just like, again, set the stage for us to have an idea. Here's where we're going. Here's what we're talking about. And when she read that line, I was like, oh yeah.
That's
so good.
I thought we were going to get to do that for every episode.
I know. And
that's not how you build these things. And you got to admit, we've learned a new industry or a new way of doing of this, of giving a life lesson, right? In each one of these stories, the whole idea is, you know me, I'm very passionate about culture, very passionate about business. With that being said, I wanted us to have these little nuggets that you and I can pull out each week and dive into a little bit more. Obviously, this first one, there's no real nuggets. It's setting the stage that it's a fence guy that landed a big job. His wife even said, "Are you okay? I'm worried about you." And like, no, this is gonna be fine. This is the biggest job we've ever landed. So now you're getting the stage of what's going on.
When his project manager, superintendent is just in the wind, nobody can get a hold of him. Is he gone for good, or is he just like, what's going on? There's a little bit of that. So business owner is stepping in to say, all right, somebody's got to get this thing done. Right. Yeah. And like, I got
to save the day.
Right. Right. But I think fence company owners can relate to that, to where it's like, guys, we've got to get this done. Right. Yeah. And his wife sets it up perfectly in that, like, biggest job ever. Bills are coming in. And
she's taking care of the children. Matter of fact, she lost one of them at the time, right? How about the cheese sticks or the mott sticks or the shredded cheese or whatever, and the water in the hamper.
Yeah, she's in it for the long haul.
I'm hoping that everybody could just picture you talking to your wife, and then he is like, "Okay, fine, I got to get the work done," and she's telling him, and then she gets scared. I mean. Yeah. That's the part of it that I want people to fall in love with, right?
Absolutely. Just that there is a family dynamic, and it's stretching your neck, it's getting uncomfortable, it's trying to level up your business. I'm trying to be like and throw as many catchphrases into this one sentence as I can, but really put himself out there
Right.
and swung for the fences on this one. So, but site superintendent is unknown, just out blown in the wind is how he put it, or in the wind. So he's got to step up. He's got to drive out there and figure out what's going on and what needs to get done. We learned towards the end of it that they're behind already,
Yep.
60, 70, 80 posts behind. So, which is a decent amount to be behind, not insurmountable. Like
Right.
you can, with the right leadership, you can get back involved with this. But he also figures out that in town, Scarecrow Tech is not loved.
No,
Not
they're
loved.
not loved. Yep.
And I think this can also probably strike a chord to like some of us that have worked for big companies that are polarizing, right?
Yeah.
And you know what he wants to say? He's like, guys, I'm building a fence. Like I'm not taking sides on whatever is going on here. Like I'm here to do a job, but he's getting pulled into it.
Yeah. That's exactly right. Yep. And you know what, that is a tough balance, right? Especially for companies like us that do a lot of netting. We go into other towns,
Sure.
but we try to use some local labor and we try to get the local people involved. And we're actually changing our business model a little bit now with the USS brand, that we actually want to teach other fence companies how to do netting. But here nor there, this first episode, man, my stomach was in knots when they said they were going to send it to me, because I thought, is the industry going to understand that this is just a way to have a family event, right?
Sure.
To
Sure.
listen, to do something. Your kids, Joe, no offense, but my kids, my kids when they were younger, they're all older now, and my son actually does listen to you, and my daughter does too, but they're probably not going to listen to you.
Sure. Yeah.
Is that should I not say? Does that mean
We all have an audience?
my 14-year-old daughters are not going to be listening?
Yeah, which makes sense.
Right. But hopefully this will be something that when you're going down the road, you're traveling and
yeah. It's also like you get to the fun part about going to like conferences and all that is that you get to meet up with like-minded people and share some stories that you can relate with but in like a relaxed and casual environment.
right.
And so what I feel like this audio drama is doing also is bringing that into the truck or into the office, wherever you're listening to it, is bringing some of that lighthearted, but like yep, I can relate with that. There's some things coming up that I particularly could relate with, just in general. So,
Right.
but in a lighthearted way, right? And there's also like this, like kind of a mysterious thing going on, which has you thinking. Towards the end of episode 1, he had to go back out, kind of clean up a mess. Truck popped a tire, so he was responsible for it. Which, hello, like Ozark Fence is paid to replace a tire or two just because of someone drove through the lot, wasn't clean enough, and we took responsibility. So I could relate with that. He had to go out, clean it up. Job site was a mess, but he heard a eerie sound from off in the distance. And there's also like somebody missing in this.
Yep.
Found a class ring with this person's name on it. Heard the eerie howl. Hightailed it out. End scene.
Right.
So there's also a little bit of mystery to it, which makes it fun, right? So it's not just listening to a business podcast, right, or a motivational podcast, but it's also not purely fiction either. So it's this, amalgamate. It's just this combination.
Yep. It's a fictional story with non-fictional meetings, right? That's exactly what it is, and it's when we were doing the brainstorming session, I gave a lot of people. I gave the team a lot of ideas that we've had go wrong on job sites, and hoping that they could incorporate it, and then trusting that they did. And the writers did an incredible job of trying to learn the fence industry quickly in order to kind of try to put it in. But there's some good stuff, and there's more to come. And I'm going to tell you, if you have not listened to the first episode, please go back, listen to it, and then be excited, because about episode 5, you're gonna get some chuckles, and you're gonna start buying in. It'll get you. If you don't laugh out loud at one or two of the episodes between 5 and 6, I will be very surprised. I think you will laugh out loud.
Yeah, it takes a little while to set the stage properly and introduce all the characters and how the characters are connected and interact with each other. Because if you went straight to the meat and potatoes, the funny parts and the suspenseful parts it wouldn't make sense. Right? They wouldn't be suspenseful, and you just wouldn't get what everyone's talking about or how they're coming about it. It takes a few episodes to really get in there, but I really feel like, at least in episode 1, there is a hook, right? It's what is going on out there, right? Like, there's some weird stuff happening. What's going on? But in a way that fence guys relate to. Like I said, they're behind. They're trying to figure out how to do this. Bills are coming in, so this has to get done so these bills can get paid. And it's just, there's a lot that we can relate with, but we are still there. If you think this is incredibly interesting, and it is, just know, like, once it starts building on itself, it really gets good.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And for the record, I did go to an Amazon site. I parked my truck to look at a project they invited me to look at. The site was closed for the day. And on the loudspeakers, I literally heard, "You in the black truck, we are watching you, and the police have been notified." And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I'm looking around. So literally, this has happened to me.
Yeah.
Like, I've been watched by Amazon, and they were like, "You in the black truck, we see you. We see you walking along the building. We see you on the sidewalk." I'm like, "Oh, okay, but you told me to come here.
I was invited."
I'm trying to call people and say, "Hey, no, I have permission to be here. Don't call the cops." Right. So this stuff really does happen.
So this is even more relatable.
Yes, right. It's very relatable.
If you guys haven't watched it, we're going to link in the description below. Or if you found the link, the My Salesman link, it works for all the episodes. It takes you to where you can download them. Check that out. There's a lot of good stuff here. You don't want to miss out. If you haven't listened to episode 1, this might not make a whole lot of sense. So you're going to want to click the link, go listen to episode 1, come back and listen to this, and it might make a little bit more sense. But
I think it's fun. It's gonna be a good something new and fresh for our industry. And Joe, at the end of the day, I hope it's a family event that you guys that the families can enjoy together at all ages. There's only one way that you can get your kids to fall in love with your industry and what you're doing, and that is if you love what you're doing. If your kids see you miserable, Joe, where you're coming home every day and you're hating life and you're hate fence and you never point out the fences that you build in town and you hate it, well, they're not going to want to be a part of it. They're not going to ever want to be a part of it with you. I love to celebrate. I talk to my kids all the time about, "Hey, you see that fence up on that hill there? I built that one." And they're like, "Dad, you built it?" Or, "Well, I didn't really build it, but our team built it. So I was there, blah, blah, blah." So,
yeah.
So I really, the idea behind this whole entire series, there's 8 episodes. We're already working on next season. There's going to be 9 episodes in next season. It's going to be even better than this first one, not to get ahead of myself and not to let anything out of the bag, but it's going to be really, really good. We're getting better at it all the time. But I want our kids and our family to be able to enjoy something with us that we do. And the true testimony is if your daughter's going to like it, Joe, and
Sure.
if she says, "Hey, that was pretty cool, Dad," then mission accomplished. But
yeah, I agree.
My takeaway on episode 1, though, is this. If you come home miserable every day, your family is going to be miserable too. Sure. So let's try to have a positive outlook. Let's try to look at things. Don't be complaining about that one bad apple. Let's be celebrating the good apples that you have and all the positive things that you're doing and the growth that you've had and how blessed you are. And let's be a positive influence on our core family. So this whole first episode is dedicated to all the fence families out there that have been through it, and now the second generation fell in love with it, and then the third generation. I'm hoping that I can hand mine down to a second generation. Your family has already done that. I know a good friend of mine, the Bennett family, has already done that. The Seegers have already done that. There's just so many people out there that I admire that I saw them hand it down. So that's what this whole one is dedicated to. So there you have it.
And that answers one of my questions. So, and that was one of the things I want to talk to you about is so this series is sponsored by My Salesman.
Yes, sir.
Which makes sense. That's one of the hats you wear. It also happens to be one of the hats I'm wearing. That makes a little bit more sense because that's what I was trying to figure out is how My Salesman comes to play. And My Salesman comes to play in the story here in a little bit. But so maybe that answers my question before I asked it, which was why bring this to the industry, right? Like why My Salesman brings this story, the first ever, to the industry, being an unknown quantity, right? Like I think there's a little bit of unsureness about how the industry receives it and are they ready for it and just all of this. Is that the why? Is that why this is important to you and through you, My Salesman?
100%. I'll be honest with you. It was expensive to build. These are professional readers, and you saw them. You saw them on the videos. These are professional editors. This is, I mean, we've got top of the line people out of Los Angeles helping us with this stuff. I mean, it's incredible, and their time is very expensive. So this is a huge gamble for My Salesman. But to be honest with you, this is a huge gamble that we're just taking because I wanted to do something new and fresh for the industry. And this, I want to give this to the industry and say, season 1 is for all of you that have handed your businesses down properly, that have had your family fall in love with it. You've put your kids through college. You've done all this. Here's a nice family-friendly show or series that have life nuggets, life golden nuggets in there that you can pull out and possibly even talk to your children about, or your kids about, or your employees about, or your team members about, or whatever it is. And I've actually starting to learn that we have both. We have employees and we have team members. Some people just don't want to be on the team. They want to show up, do their job. And so as much as we try to recruit them to be a team, they're not. But this might get them to maybe say, you know what, I do want to be a part of this team. And that's the why. The why is for the industry. I'll be honest with you. I hope that somebody will say, hey, I like what My Salesman did there. What is My Salesman? And we'll possibly sign up and subscribe. I think it's a great product. I'm the founder, so I'm a little partial to it.
Sure.
But the next season, the next episode, we're gonna dedicate it to a couple other things. I've got some really cool ideas. And hopefully each season is dedicated to something bigger than ourselves, and we can say this is what we're all about. It does take money. You know, I always say, Joe, money isn't everything, but it's near to oxygen. We have to have it.
Yeah.
And I stole that from Jim Rohn. He gave me permission to use it. He's passed now, but he always said he stole his stuff. But we are going to have some sponsors, and we're going to have to do that to get it paid for. But right now, My Salesman footed the bill for this first one, and we're gonna get it out there, and it's more of a gift to the industry.
Well, and also, so you use the title founder. You also use the title Chief Visionary Officer.
Yes.
Right. Or the team uses that title.
Yeah.
So I think that comes into play here. Right. Is that
Absolutely.
There's a vision here that you see crystal clear. And I love doing projects with you because the vision's that good. I remember you had walked up to me at an event and said, hey, I got this idea. Like, well, I'm in. Do you want to hear about it? Sure. But no, listen, if it makes sense to you, if you see it in your vision, let's go. I'm willing to ride shotgun with you on this just to see where it takes us.
Well, I love it, and I love the opportunity that we have to bounce some ideas off each other and to do this to wrap up. And And I think we're going to have some really nice golden nuggets out of these episodes, especially episode 5 and 7, where we're going to have some really good nuggets in there. So everybody be listening for it. And then Joe and I'll do a little wrap up, right?
Yep. Every week we'll come to you with a wrap up of the episode. Guys, if you have questions about this episode or about upcoming episodes, drop them in the comments below. If I can't answer them, I will. And if they're for someone else, I'll make sure Matt sees them or Brad sees them, whoever they're intended for, I'll make sure they get there. But drop your comments in the comments below. Let's do this. So what favorite part of season 1 or episode 1, which is, like I said, we're building a foundation. So I would ask you for your favorite character, but in my opinion, we haven't gotten to the best character yet. So I'll reserve that question for a few more episodes. We'll say that for an episode to be determined. Yeah, drop us a note. Let us know what you thought of it. That, what questions you might have. I think one of the things is, so Matt alluded to, season 2 is in the works, right? Yes. Like in the process. So what feedback do you guys have that Matt can pass on to Brad and the writing crew to say, hey, here's some things maybe we haven't thought about. And here's some, what tips or tricks do you have, or what insight do you have that you might like to see in season 2?
Yeah, and we really do want people's feedback. I mean, I know that it's not going to be for everybody, but sure. I sure hope that it's for the majority. That I hope the majority of the industry likes it, appreciates it, that it's wholesome, good, clean stuff. It's kind of a lot of people don't like the Ace Ventura movies or those other ones. I think they make me laugh. Yeah. Him kicking the box with the package in the beginning. I still do that here. I'll get an empty box and I'll be like, coming through, people. I got the pack, So I'm hoping that people will find that we've got some slapstick kind of humor in here that plays along. No different than when he's asking him at the bowling alley, and he's like, "Oh, he's a pretty good bowler." He's like, "No, that's not what I'm getting at." Well, that's supposed to be setting up the character that, all right, the sheriff is kind of a Barney Fife kind of goofy guy. So
right. Being a sheriff maybe is not his top priority.
No. So very good. I love this. We'll do this again for episode 2, 2 through 8, and then at the end of 8, we're gonna have a bonus where we're just gonna get together. I'm gonna invite some other people out in the industry to give us some quick little feedback. What'd you think? And laugh a little bit, and then we'll give the big unrevealing, or we'll unveil the next season.
Season 2. I'm already excited for it. You've got me hook, line, and sinker on you. You had talked to me about it. Brad had talked to me about it. And then when I started seeing they weren't really scripts, but they're just like writer's notes, right? Yep. I was like, oh yeah. Oh, this is great. And then when you get to the end, you're like, hey, there's more, right? Don't leave me hanging here. I need which is perfect. Right. Again, professional writers know what they're up to. And so I think you guys will love it. I think you'll enjoy it. I know I loved and I enjoyed it. I'm already chomping at the bit to at least see the writer's notes of season 2. At least let me know kind of where we're headed. But
you're going to love it.
We're focused on season 1 right now. So
yes.
But guys, like I said, leave us your feedback. Let us know what you think. We'd love to hear from you. And stay tuned for season 2 and the season 2 wrap up. Like I said, if you haven't found it yet, the link is down in the description below. Click the link. It'll take you to a download section where you can connect with a podcast platform to download. Just download the whole follow channel. Just that way it automatically downloads them so they're ready to go. Every Tuesday, 5:30 a.m. Eastern. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
All right. So I'm not up at 5:30 Eastern, so that tells me that they will be ready to go for my morning commute into work to listen to. That's actually, so today I listened to, and this is real time right now. This is when you listen to, anyway. Dan had on the Fence Industry podcast, he had Rachel on where they were talking about it, and I was like, that was my drive in. So I was like, oh, This is going to be perfect. This will be my Tuesday morning drive in. I'll just listen to this episode or this season's, whichever episode. And it's going to be my Tuesday morning commute for the next few months.
that's a little bit of the idea of it, right? Is to give you something to kind of listen to on your weekly drive to work, whether it's Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever you choose to do it. But
Sure.
that's a little bit why we released it in the morning rather than the afternoon, just so some people can hop right on and do it. So it's going to be fun. I'm so excited for it. And Joe, thank you for being a part of it with me.
Oh, yeah. No, don't need to thank me. Thank you for including me in this. I mean, it's we talked about this a lot. It's like I love the idea. I thank you for including me in it. Just so I could. It'll be a fun story, and I appreciate just being a part of the storytelling of it.
It's good stuff.
Well, guys, like I said, tune in next week. We will be recapping season 1, episode 2. There's some good stuff. There's some good stuff. Like the real meat and potatoes is coming 5-ish season or episode 5-ish. But we are building just like episode 1, episode 2 will have a little bit more meat and potatoes. We're still building foundation. We're still telling stories a little bit, but we're getting there. So listen to episode 2. Stay tuned for the episode 2 recap, which will be airing next week.
I love it. Thanks, Joe.
And of course, Matt. Guys, for now, Joe Everest, fence expert, here with Matt the Miracle, talking about the Unhinged, episode 1, season 1. I can't wait to see you guys next week.